Let's build.
Have you ever had a dream that you
Shimmy, shimmy, y'all, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yay. The mother plane keep the nuclear weapons at bay.
My name is Yves Darbouze.
Shame on a nigga that think I can. Shame on the devil that try to get in my way.
And this is the Pan-African product. My brethren, I promise when I go through the catalogs of songs, I'm gonna bring up more, on the continent artists. But are Africans incompetent? That's a question you have to ask. Is there something when writing this book that I will plug on every episode? Because this is why I'm here. This is why I'm here. There's a link in the description. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on Barnes & Noble. Here it is. Leave Operationalizing a Pan-African State. What operationalizing means, for those who do not know or who have not heard me define it, it's making it happen. It's the set of determinations and findings when you initiate a project that you set up to solve a problem or to fix a process or to create a completely new product. I look at Africa like a product. I look at the people of Africa as customers to that product. How do I build a product that customer wants, that serves its purpose? The main purpose being that people want to live in a place that is safe, prosperous, and free for everyone. For everyone. If I could not build this project and design a system that would allow us to mitigate the issues that we have as Africans, one of our issues is that on the world stage, we look incompetent. I'm here to tell you why we look incompetent today, right? And the reason why we can't get traction, the reason why every 20 years you're trying to restart another revolution. There's no more restarting revolutions for us anymore. There's no more. But I will show you the systematic functions, the systematic glitches in our matrix that doesn't allow Africa to move forward. In building this product that I call the Pan-African State, and I would love to see it happen, to use that name in particular, because it's not a nation. It's not a nation. A nation is ingrained in your genetics, in your language that you grew up speaking, in the people and the cultures, the dance that you do, the rice that you make. All of those things are what makes you a nation. I don't want to build a nation. Frantz Fanon told us that would be folly, to try to make people erase these things that make them who they are, what gives them identity. The Pan-African State, its job is to protect those things. But at the same time, we've got to get rid of these things that keeps a country of brilliant people. I'm watching the black man that went to space, that went to the moon, circled the moon and came back. I'm not going to say his names because since he's done that, he said some things that show we're not aligned. And that's fine. But that talent exists. That talent exists on the African continent. We don't need to find 1 million of them. We don't need to find 500,000. We need to get to work with 10,000, 5,000, right? You need a vanguard, as they say, right? And I'm looking for you. I may not even be a part of it, but I'm hoping that these ideas, these thoughts make you understand what you're seeing more. These things are not the things we have done to us. These are the things that we do to ourselves. The things that we do to us, the only way we can stop them is through warfare, right? I'm not even getting there yet. Are Africans incompetent? Well, let's analyze it. One of the things that makes Africans incompetent is tribalism. Something I will never take away, right? Nothing in my planning. This is ingrained. This would take 100 years of living under something different for it to change. From the Ashanti, the Igbo, the Yoruba, the Zulu, the Berber, those are the ones I know off my head, but I know about 100 more of them. And all of them are important, and all of them are our job to protect. But tribalism, right, that often looks like party politics, right, is a main stumbling block for Africans. One gets into power, they have to now reward all the other people that's in power. Not because they're good at their jobs, but because they are a part of their tribe, because they're a part of their party. And then what happens from there? That from there you get incompetent role players or stakeholders. Corporations pay me a lot of money to go in and find out which people in their organizations technically have no role. That they're always, understand, in the American capitalist system, firing 40,000 people is a sign that your company is going to be healthy again. If you want to send a message to the stockholders that you're getting it together, fire 100,000 people, fire 5,000 people. But incompetent stakeholders make it where your plans, your initiatives cannot function, right? And then that leads to corruption, which makes us look incompetent, right? Same breed, different disease is nepotism, right? How do you get the best talent if you're hiring your nephew and your niece? And some of that is tribalism, but it's an important thing to suss out. You didn't help your child by giving him no adversity. We're creating these deformed human beings that have no adversity. This human body and human mind is designed to fight adversity. Some of them, if your forefathers have been killing and it's in your genetics, it's in your epigenetics, you might become a serial killer. It's inside of you. It's inbred in you. But how do you find innovation if I'm just always hiring my cousins? I do it. I've had businesses. I hire my family. But to be governmental, right? When I hire my family, the only person that might pay the price is me or my customers, who won't be my customers much longer. And it's not because you can't hire family. I will continue to hire family to the day I die. It's not a thing for me. And some of my best employees have been my family. But the point is, when you can elevate someone using nepotism, you are setting yourself up for incompetence, right? In the West, we have the similar problem. If you had more of merit-driven talent coming into the top universities, 20% of their from 12 to 20% of Ivy League population is made up of very, very rich people's idiot children. And I know of a grandfather that is still giving hundreds of thousands of dollars to schools to accept his fuck-up grandchildren. And he's open to telling me, and we talk about it all the time, I won't divulge his name, but these high net worth individuals, they think that they're fortifying their generational wealth or creating generational wealth so that their children have something. The worst thing to do is to make your children not have to fight for it. Is to make your children be people who don't accomplish anything. That reverberates incompetency. Incompetency breeds. That's right. Right. You've now made it, your family, a bunch of corrupt, lazy people who think that their birthright is to continue to destabilize Africa. Another reason why Africa seems incompetent is capitalism. See, capitalism is not designed to make the best person or make the best society. It's individualistic. The individualistic nature of capitalism makes us make poor choices. When I go to Lagos, I'm always shocked to see how many Lamborghinis and Ferraris I see, and Bugattis. You see them. You're just driving around. They're right there. And they're riding on roads that aren't paved. How did you weigh that up? I'm going to spend $200,000 for the car, and then I'm going to spend another $60,000 for their taxes. Then I'm going to spend another $60,000 for the taxes to get it through Nigerian ports and deliver it to me. This is a poison of the mind for you to buy that car and you have no road leading up to your big ass house. The only road you have is the one that you pay for yourself. Does that look like a sensible country? Does that look like smart people evolving together in a nation? No, it looks stupid. It looks stupid. I have friends who try to talk me into going to watch really rich Nigerians race each other. I can't. I can't when I'm driving through the rest of the country and I'm seeing how people are living. Capitalism has perverted our minds. It's done it worse to us than anything else, than anyone else, because individualism in the hand of an African is much more destructive than individualism in the hand of a Westerner, of a European, because they know that we are the enemy. They understand that they build things up for their group benefit, not in a socialist or communist way. Eventually, they say, the leftists is always taking our money. But without the leftists in America, you wouldn't have all these roads. You wouldn't have seatbelt laws. You wouldn't have, and as much as I talk bad about neoliberals, and these aren't neoliberal moves, but there had to be a leftist to argue for stoplights. Because if you listen to Trump, he'll tell you, we don't have any money for daycare systems. We got wars to fight. And it's the individualism in Nigeria, the capitalism in Nigeria is the reason why Nigeria's military is mediocre at best. Friends in the military, I don't want to diss them, but everything I'm telling you right now behind the scenes, they tell me they get paid nothing. The generals, the officers, they get paid well. They've got businesses. Like, all of that can only create corruption. It can only create corruption, right? And it doesn't bring out the best people. We in Africa need the best people to bubble to the surface, to make themselves known. They may not even know it, but Africa, it needs talent, because one, we send our very best talent abroad, and that talent comes and visits on holidays, and then they go back and they build up wherever they're at. The Pan-African state must start to think in the terms of the group, in the terms of what a Pan-African state could be and what that gives you in return. But as long as one of my trips, I met a guy on a plane ride, long plane ride, so you could make a friendship off of a plane ride. But we ended up not being friends, because on him taking me to the house that I was staying at with the friends that I was staying at, he was staying close, but the whole ride he's just bashing the country. He's Nigerian, I'm Haitian. He's Nigerian. He's bashing the country, this thing and this problem and that problem and this thing and that thing and this and so on and so forth. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, like, these things that you're talking about your own people. Why don't you see the problems? Fix it. But it's in that capitalism that was taught to us by the Europeans created this idea of individualism, which short circuits any kind of movement forward. Capitalism was definitely the wrong thing, but it's easier to control a new country. Like you fight a revolution, you win it, Nigeria is now free. But if they give you their capitalism and they know how to pull the strings, and it makes you inefficient. It makes you not see the bigger picture. You don't understand that your incompetence is directly connected to these kids that I see in the streets of Lagos. And I ask myself, can't there be a better way? I know too many rich Nigerians. Why do we not have the best school systems in all of Africa? Why are Nigerians having to leave Nigeria and go other places and create havoc? And what we have to do is we have to forego, like, if we're going to build this system that allows us to truly flourish, because even the rich Nigerians, a lot of them, it's based off of screwing their brother or screwing the other tribe, or it doesn't work. It really doesn't. The fourth thing is a little bit more of what we're talking about, but different. Financialism, right? Financialism is, another word for it is usury. Debt. Why can't this massive wealth that Nigeria produces every year in the form of oil and minerals and resources and brain power as well, brain power and talent, You may not look at Victor Osimhen as a commodity. He's a commodity. He's a commodity. And if I've seen interviews of him just talking about how scammerific even football is, and how to even make the teams you might have to bribe someone. You understand that it's at the core of what is breaking Africa. Not just Nigeria, everywhere. If you're in debt to the IMF, World Bank, right? If you owe them exceeding amounts of money, you have to suffer, make the interest, acquire the dollars, because you can only pay them back in dollars or euros. And what do you get for it, right? The reasons why we look incompetent, when people go, why they so poor? Yeah, I know that's because we get the worst visuals of Africa. I know, but I've been to Africa, and I know we could be doing so much better than this. I know we can. Africa is rich, so the African people are rich. I don't want to see 4-year-old boys with no pants on. You understand me? I'm here to fight for them, not criticize them, to fight for them. I hope you hear my words, and you take a couple kids off the street, and you buy them clothes. You know how mad my driver was when I got out the car and I started buying kids stuff? We couldn't move. I was going to a wedding. I ended up giving all the money that I was going to throw at the wedding to buying little sweatsuits for kids. Your financialism, the usury, it never works anywhere. Look at it historically. Everywhere finance capital reigns, it eventually destroys the country that adopted it. It always turns into fascism. That's why we look incompetent. You have to be incompetent to go borrow money when you make as much revenues as Nigeria does. When you make as much revenues as Nigeria does, why do you need a $795 million loan? And to top it off, you've got one $795 million loan from France, and you got another, $400 million with the World Bank. What part of history have you missed? The thing is, when you become a supplicant of the West, when you become a lapdog for the West, and you take those loans, that's how they make their money. That's how they make their margins, right? They do it off the backs of our shared global incompetence. And until you start to be clear of it, you cannot build something better. You cannot step on the world stage, right? It was so funny to watch how Iran, dude, just because they were isolated and sanctioned to death, it made them more pragmatic. It made them more calculative. It made them more on their deen, because they knew the margins for failure were slim. Can Zimbabwe do, when they had sanctions, can they do what Iran has done? I don't think it's fair to compare. But now, having Iran as an example, we know these things. And I just did a whole entire video. It's weird because I just recorded it. But I want to let you know, if you came through this door and you've seen this, I just did a whole video about what Africa can learn, what Africans can learn from the Iran war. Yeah. So you have these structures, right, that beg you to try to figure out, well, what is the formula? What can we do formulaically? Like, I'm a math. I enjoy writing and I enjoy reading and I enjoy creativity a lot more than math, but math is what has made my career. Being good at math is why I'm able to have this house and talk to you guys and dream these big dreams, right? But Africa's incompetence, right, is formulaic. Let's do the formula. Mass, right? We have that. 1.4 billion Africans, right? We have mass. We have that part of the formula. Do we have the energy? We're gonna have 1 billion people under 25. We do have the energy, right? The energy is twice as important as the mass, because we have the 1.4 billion, right? But do we have purpose? What do we want, right? What do we want, and who do we want to be? That part is very, very important, right? And the most important thing, we'll say times 4, is the unity. This is the catalyst, right? Right? That's the catalyst. It's mass times energy times unity. This is the incompetence elixir. If you could pour this into a drink, it would fix what ails the continent that we all come from. If we could fix this thing, we could take the incompetence elixir, because we already have this. We don't have to expend any energy to do this. We just, by right, have 1.4 billion Africans. That is a important part of the formula, but the energy, mass times energy times unity. That's mine. That's the algorithm. That's the way we get to changing who we are. Africa doesn't have to be incompetent, right? There's too many movies and films that depict us as the bumbling idiot, the magical Negro that just shows up to just make their lives better. This is why we're incompetent. All of us, me, you, all of us. It's because we're doused in this poison. And until we recognize it, until we understand it and allow it to help our minds start thinking anew. Only thing that exists here is limitation. In Africa, the only thing that exists is green field. Are there scam artists? Are there people? Yes, there's challenges everywhere you go, but the outcome would be worth it. I'm tired of talking to people. Hey, could you take a look at my math? Could you take a look at my economics? Hey, read my white paper. Tell me what you think about the arrow currency. And every single time almost, it's the same answer. It's not, will my plan work? It's always, you'll never get 54 African leaders to give that up. They're too incompetent. I don't believe that. I don't believe Africans are incompetent. We look at our systems produce incompetent results. The allowing of our enemies into our space and allowing them to have influence on our growth will always make you look incompetent. However, Africans, we must come to the realization that it's not us, it's our environment, it's the water we drink, it's the air we breathe, it's the media we consume, and it's the media they consume. We look like we shouldn't be in charge of our own shit. That is embarrassing. And it must end now. Not for me. Don't do it for me. I'm not running for anything. I just want an equitable world for my son to grow up in. I want a place for him where he can dream anything, and his talent and his temerity and his work ethic will decide whether or not he accomplishes those goals. Not his race, not their race. Typically, it's because they're protecting whiteness. It's not because they hate blackness necessarily. They're protecting whiteness as they're taught generationally to protect whiteness, almost instinctually to protect whiteness. And for some reason, they believe we should fall in line and help them protect it too. And some of us do. But Africans, if you don't want to be viewed as incompetent, then let's get on this mission. Let's get on this mission like Indiana Jones, I think. My name is Yves Darbouze, and this is the Pan-African Product.